Hey everybody, it's Norman Will back for another episode of Behind the Garage Door. Today we're going to head up to San Antonio and meet up with a cowboy named Tom who has two really cool hot rods. So Tom has some of my favorite cars, so we need to take one of my favorite cars. All right, so we made the trip out to San Antonio to Tom's place. Tom, thank you so much for inviting us out to your house. And I saw online what is behind these two doors, and I have to tell you, this is right up my alley. So I'm super excited to see what is behind Tom's garage door. All right, Tom. So there, as far as I'm concerned, hot rods and street rods, there's the two coolest ones that you can ever have is a 40 Ford Coupe and a 32 Ford.
Yeah.
Tell me everything about this car.
Well, this is a 31 Ford Model A.
Okay.
And it has a 32 front end.
Okay.
My favorite is the 32.
Yes.
And when I got into cars, I was rodeoing my uncle. He had 32s.
Okay.
He had highboys, roadsters, coupes, everything. And I'm going to show you my coupe in a moment.
Yes.
And from that's where I got my coupe from.
Okay.
So I always wanted a roadster, so I was looking for a 32, but they're really, really high priced. And this is about the closest I came, and I'm pretty happy with it.
I'm not mad at it.
No.
I am not mad at it at all. And even right there on the cow, all steel 31. So it's as Henry made it, huh?
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I don't dog old guys with street rods that have a small block Chevy in it, but you have the engine in it.
Yeah.
Tell me about the flathead.
The flathead, it came with a 53 Mercury flathead.
Okay.
And these are aluminum polished Offenhauser heads and Maniflow, and it has 3 Strongbird 97 vintage carburetors on it. And it's got the generator over here is to look like a generator, but it's an
Alternator. Good. That's a wise move.
And it's got I forget what they call that starter over there, but it's the big strong one. It slipped my mind for a moment, but it's got Ross pistons, a cam. I got all the receipts from this car from the guy who built it.
Okay.
And funny thing about that, I'll tell you a story.
Sure.
In just a second. But he didn't waste any money doing this. Flathead Jake out in California did the building of it, and then they finished the car in Michigan. I'm sorry. It slipped my mind for a minute.
Thank your wife real quick.
Yeah, and these stickers came with it, and it said Street Rodders. So wherever I go, I run into people that know this car.
Really?
It's amazing. I go to a cruise up in Spring Hill, and they said, we know the guy who built it, and we know the guy that he willed it to. He died and he gave it to his friend. And then the guy who died and gave it to his friend, he sold it because he didn't like roadsters, fair weather cars or whatever.
Right.
So he sold to a guy in Tennessee, and I seen it on Hemmings, and when I seen it on there, he had it for sale, and he actually hauled it down here to my front doorstep. And he wanted to take a last ride in it and let me take a cruise in it. And so I got to drive it before I bought it. Mm-hmm. Rather than going up there and all of that, he brung it down here. And me and my friend, we went for a cruise together. And I brung my 34 out. He brung his 34 over. And we went for a last ride and we bought it off of him. And I haven't been happier.
Oh, I don't know how you could not be happy with this. It's so, the paint is flawless.
It's really striking. I mean,
the interior's beautiful.
Yes.
And 3 deuces,
Yeah.
Finn aluminum offies on a flathead. Come on.
I had a 29 Ford Roadster pickup, and I'll show you pictures of that.
I love those.
And I had a F1 51 truck, all original. Okay. And so the F1 51 truck was a daily driver and whatever. And then we'd go to a church and we go to out to dinner and stuff like that, especially when COVID hit. We'd take it for rides in the evening and that. And you could go 45 miles an hour, and I did 50 one time, and it blew the windshield in onto the steering wheel. And my wife says it does it with prejudice. So So we started doing 53 and 45.
There you
everywhere.
go.
But this you can get in and go, on the freeway, or you can go anywhere, and you can go more places and stuff. So I sold 2 cars to get one.
Oh,
That's the story I wanted.
Is it automatic or 4-speed?
It's an automatic.
Okay.
It's got a Ford automatic with a 9-inch rear end.
With a 9-inch rear end in it. Okay, as we were walking up, I was looking in the interior. It's got a smaller 40 Ford steering wheel in it.
Yes.
But it's got the original 31 dash and everything in it.
Yes. What happened is this seat here was about here, and they moved it back 4 inches. The guy I bought it from, and he was like 6'1" or something like that. So he said it was like riding around in a clown's car because he was way up above high.
Yep.
So what he did is he took the bolstering that they had back here out. They moved the seat back, took the bolts out, moved it back. So there's way more leg room. These are really small cars.
Yes,
Henry
they are.
Ford. Those people were short back in the day.
They were. Absolutely.
And so you have a lot of room in this car.
All right, Tom, so we headed over to next door in your garage to this equally beautiful 34 Ford. I mean, black is a hard color to paint, and it's a hard color to make look good. You have 2 of the finest examples of black cars that I think I've ever seen. Tell me all about this one.
Well, this one here was my uncle's car, and he got me into cars.
Okay.
And I was rodeoing, and I went out and bought me a 34 truck with a 283 engine and a LaSalle transmission, and it was rough, you know what I mean? And he had all kinds of 32s. He had 32 Roadsters, Highboys, Coupes, sedans, Phaetons. Long story short, he was into 32s.
32s.
And so he was doing a land deal, and I had my truck, and he could use my truck to help make the land deal of this lady, make her happy. And then he said, you ought to build you a car. Where are you going? What are you doing? I was rodeoing, and I was coming home. He says, do something with it, So I got this car.
And what year was that?
That was in '79.
Okay. So you've had this car a long time.
About 79 and 78 or 79. So when I got the car, it didn't have any fenders on it because he was going to use it to race in El Mirage Dry Lakes in Bonneville.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so he did the land speed record with vintage gear on it.
Yeah.
And but he liked 32s, so he found a 32. So this became available for him to sell to me, and it didn't have any fenders on it. Didn't have the deck lid on it. It was just all in parts. I've got pictures of that.
Yeah.
And so I went to his car builder, and his car builder helped me build it. I helped design it the way I wanted it, have it done, and he helped me do it. I did the interior kind of the trim of 1934.
Beautiful in red.
Yes,
gorgeous.
But except I put a armrest in there.
Good idea.
Right in with the pleats, and it folds down, kind of look, still gave the same look.
Yeah.
And I put armrest in the doors, normally are in the sedans in the doors, and then I put the steering wheel. We didn't have the Adidas steering wheels like the 40 Ford and the stuff that they make today. So I got a Chrysler Imperial steering wheel.
I was going to ask you what that steering wheel is.
Yeah, it's a tilt telescope steering wheel. And then the knob on the steering wheel was terrible, gaudy, and just didn't work out. And I got a gas cap, and I went to my friend John, and he ground it off. We put it in there, fit perfectly, put some super magnets, and it made it good if you can see it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Such a cool car. Now, what's the running gear on this one?
This one has a 350 Chevy, a 350 Trans, and a 10-bolt rear end.
So you get in it and drive it in.
Yeah.
How low is the front?
It's pretty low.
It's really low.
Okay, the parking curbs and stuff, you don't want to go.
No.
You got to stay back because it was low. It's got a 3-inch dropped axle.
Yep.
And then it's got reversed beams.
Okay.
And, the I-beams and
Yep,
stuff.
yep.
And then the springs, they're lower springs with the Teflon in there to still give you a good ride and all of that. So I lowered it, and then I lowered it some more, and then I lowered it some more.
Well, when I walked, when you look at the front of this car, it is in the weeds.
It's got
the
stance.
It's got the perfect stance. As my friend Aaron says, stance gets the glance.
Yeah. I bring it out on this grass out here, and it just buries in there.
Buries in it.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic car. And you've had this since '79, you said?
Yeah, and I finished it in '82.
Okay.
So I had it about 43 years or more.
This is an absolutely beautiful car, Tom.
Thank you.
Congratulations on 2. They're kind of twins.
They are. We call them, what do you call them?
Beauty and the
The Beauty and the Beast.
Which one's Beauty?
Well, this is Beauty, and that's
That
the
was the Beast. All right, fantastic.
She drives this when I drive that one.
I love it.
So,
Tom, before we take off, you have two professions that I think are kind of cool as well. You're an actor, and you're a blacksmith. I don't know that I've ever met a blacksmith before in my life. So, do you do your, I guess it's iron work or whatever
yes,
else?
I do.
Here? Okay,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about the blacksmith
well,
stuff.
I went to Porterville Horseshoe in college to become a blacksmith.
Okay.
And when I was young, I wanted a rodeo. And so that gave me free weekends and 4-day weekends and stuff. I could schedule whatever I wanted.
Gotcha.
But the thing about rodeoing, when you're 30, you're pretty much done with it.
It's kind of like being a professional football player.
I rode bulls and saddle bronc horses, and I wasn't that good of a bull rider, but I could ride a saddle bronc a little bit, But what I liked was the specialty acts. So the specialty acts intrigued me, and so to stay around rodeo, I got into the specialty acts.
Okay.
And when I got out of horseshoeing college, I went immediately to Hollywood.
Okay.
And I shot around there.
Okay.
And so I got introduced to all of that, and I ended up out in California doing commercials and some movies and stuff like that.
Nice.
Bit parts and what have you. So with the rodeo acts, I came to Florida, and I was doing casting calls out here in Florida, and I wasn't getting them that much, and I was getting older and what have you. Anyway, I decided to make my own show, and I started a Wild West show many years ago. So I got with a friend of mine, Les McDowell, radio personality.
I know Les. I used to work with him. Yeah.
And he built. He got out of the radio business and built a set down there. We got in. He started a TV show called Dry Creek here in Florida.
Okay.
And the second year they went up for a cable award. They didn't win, but it got an honorable mention. And we tried to sell it to the big studios up there and so we did a couple of TV movies.
Okay.
And it just didn't pan out to where it really took off. So that was the end of that. But we had that for a while.
Tom.
Yeah.
Blacksmith, actor, hot rodder.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for inviting us out. This is really cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful cars. I love them.
My pleasure.
We're going to head back to the dealership and wrap it up. All right. I told you guys, those are two super cool hot rods. Thank you so much, Tom, for allowing us to come out to your house and check out that 31 all-steel Ford and that 34 all-steel Ford. After we got done filming, Tom told me that the guys that did the bodywork and the paint on the 34 Florida Rod Shop in Wesley Chapel, and guys, I applaud you, because black is not easy to paint, and you got to do so much work to the body to get it to be that laser straight. Nice job, guys. Very, very nice job. Thanks again, Tom. If you know somebody that's got a cool car, if you got a cool car, know somebody that's got a nice collection, hit us up on any of our platforms below. Let us know about it. We would love to come out and check out those as well and see what's behind those garage doors. So until next Thursday.
Stingray Chevrolet, relax, enjoy the